What is the right story? I think every story is a story. Push people to dig deep and say it. Whatever it is, just say it. Whatever it is, just say it. Tell the story.
I have an interesting man right here. As a filmmaker, a golfer, and also a business leader. Guess who we have today on our CTs and the passing of Mr. Coffie Jnr. Do you think we're actually on the right path when it comes to entrepreneurship, or you think people are just in a rush to do something?
I think we need to be a bit more deliberate. Maybe not. I don't know if rush is the right word, but I think we need to be a bit more deliberate because we need to actually build from ground up. Always a challenge. Always a challenge. And the thing is that, in my view, the challenge is an opportunity to excel. You have to forget about it, right? And just get out there, do what it is you've chosen to do. There's nothing about it being right, or there's nothing about it being wrong. Once you feel it right in your heart, do it. And if you do it and do it well and seek to excel, it's amazing what you can do. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it exactly how I did it then. So let's go.
Mindset with me, your man JK. But before we move into action, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the page, leave your comments, and share it amongst your family and friends, and tell them we are right here touching on real life stories and getting inspiration from the people we bring on the show. I wouldn't want to bore you with too much talk. Let's go for a 10. When we come back, I have an interesting man right here. Welcome back from the break. Still the Growth Mindset podcast with me, your man JK. So before I introduce you to my guest for today, I'm an actor, yeah? And I've always wanted to act with this man. And, I went for a table read. Then to my surprise, he happens to play my father. Can you see, how divine God is actually working right here. So this man, I would say, is a filmmaker, a golfer, and also a business leader. Guess who we have today on our CTs and the passing of Mr. Coffie Jnr. He's my guest. Hi, sir. How are you doing?
Very good.
Yeah, really humbled having you today on the show.
It was fun playing your part.
Yeah, I know, right? I've always wanted to act with you. So when, the casting came, we're supposed to do the table read, and I'm like, oh, that was it. It was quite a humbling moment for me.
Well, for me, it was nice.
Yeah, great working with you. Definitely, we have to. But before we move into, filmmaking, talking about golf and business, let's go back into your upbringing. Growing up, how was the journey like for you?
I think, to be fair, I had a cozy up. Yeah, life was really smooth. Yeah, I feel very blessed. Yeah. But that doesn't come with its own difficulties.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah. I was born in Kopmile. I grew up in Kopmile. I moved into cantonments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Transition. Definitely.
Yeah, I got a chance to live abroad for some time. Now I live in Osu.
Oh,
yeah.
So from Kokomlimle, cantonments, abroad, and Osu. The nightlife is the heart of a prayer. Definitely great. And looking at these transitions, how would you say it shaped your life as a great man that you are today?
I am becoming a great person. I haven't gotten there. Yeah. But all these things help and shape and influence my thinking, what I want to be and where I want to be. My father was an engineer, so that was easy to emulate.
Okay. He was also an artist, a musician, did a whole number of days. We spend time at home watching movies.
And now I look back on this and I realize all those bits and pieces, pushed me into the directions that I've taken. And if I had to do it all again, I'd do it exactly the same way.
And growing up, sometimes we have people having conversation. Okay, my dad wants me to be a lawyer. My dad wants me to do this. This was a personal decision, or dad influenced you to actually move into the space.
Yeah, there was no direct info, but obviously
seeing what was going on at home and the lifestyle he had, we took us to work to explore, but he never asked us to do anything other than what we wanted to do. And one thing he wanted to do, because he was a mechanical engineer, he wanted us to be in a situation where wherever our car broke down, we could take it to the PTS or to the medics, first aid, So once he gave us that, he didn't need to do what we chose to get.
That's amazing. Great. Now, let's talk about the sports. That's golf.
Yeah.
And yeah, anytime we hear someone playing golf, it comes with that kind of, title and attention in there. Who introduced you to golf?
Golf is a very interesting story, Mario. I went to school in Achimota Secondary School, and Achimota Secondary School owned the property that the Achimota Golf Club was off. So 5 years in Achimota Secondary School, I didn't even know there was a ball post there. I walked past it and had no idea why it is. Like I said, I spent some time abroad, and whilst working with my warehouse manager, he said he was closing early to go and play golf. I thought, what is that? Then he talked me through it, and then took me with him to see what he was going to do. And I loved, and Basby and I decided I want to do this. And ever since then, I've been, I would like to say I've been an avid golfer, but the story has changed a bit because my knees are not as strong as they used to. So from playing 4 rounds of golf a week, now I'm playing like 1 round of golf in 4 months.
Oh, that's really long in there.
I know.
But I know you were the captain for the Achimota Golf Club. How did you even back that as well?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. So at Achimota Golf Club, we have members that take honorary positions to help manage the boss and causing And I was elected, to be a vice captain. I don't really care. I was elected to be vice captain, and I did my role. And when it was over, we said, "Okay, what do you captain?" He goes, "No, get out of service."
Definitely. Great. It leads me to another question. Let's talk about our sporting, sector right here in Ghana. It's just unfortunate when we talk about sports, then it's all about football. We forget about the golf, the swimming and all that. Do you think lately, or let me say with our setting, we are now embracing all kind of sport, or we're still stuck with just football?
I think we're still stuck with football, but we're getting a lot more exposure than we ever did on the other sports. And in boxing has been one of our biggest sports. Also, football have overshadowed it. Boxing now is getting more, more eyeballs everywhere. If the ladies suffers, hockey is picking up. Yeah. Track and field, so things are getting more exposure because of maybe the global, market and social media and people having access to see these things. But I don't think there's a big enough conscious of an effort, from the powers that be to put, resources into these things. So yeah, I think there's still a lot of room, for that. I mean, as part of my experience with golf, I got elected to be the president of the Ghana Ball Professional Association, so that is an area, that people don't even know we have professional golfers within the country, and our golfers have been on international platforms winning, so in terms of capacity and capability, we definitely have what it takes with a liberal resource on the fish, particularly, we can be great athletes in varied sports.
Thinking of, setting up a club soon, just to train or have people have that kind of experience.
Well, obviously there used to be something like 17 golf courses in Ghana. Okay. I think there are probably 9 or so active golf courses. And there's a whole organizational structure, Ghana Golf Association and other bodies that are dedicated to putting golf putting golf up. I'll say I don't think that my resources need hit at this barrier. This is being taken care of very well. Yes.
Now moving away from golf, talking about sporting activity, now let's move into business.
Yeah.
It's very necessary. The cash flow, the liquid, we need it rather. Let's talk about that aspect, or let me say that life of yours as well.
Yeah.
What moved you into, doing business, leading the fort?
Yeah, so I started my education in engineering. So I'm an electrical engineer. Very care. After studying electrical engineering, I had an opportunity to do further studies in logistics, supply chain logistics, and supply chain logistics put me into the business world. Right, back in the day, supply chain logistics was relatively new. It has a structure for so that got me into it. I came to Ghana in 2000 and started working for a multinational. Am I allowed to say Unilever?
Okay.
Yeah. And man, so I worked for Unilever. That got me into the Ghana space. I was a head buyer at some point. I was a logistics project manager at some point, and those things brought me to figure out that the interface between the supplier base and the multinational had a gap. Small businesses were not properly structured to give the right service that the multinational needed. So after working there for a couple of years, I decided to set up business consultancy to shape and mold SMEs to become more suited. So that got me in there, and then entrepreneurship took over, and then started also interesting in years.
Great. Now we're going social media. We have a lot of entrepreneurs, people setting up their own business, and still choked in that space. Looking at you with your, no hand and knowledge about this thing, do you think we're actually on the right path when it comes to entrepreneurship, or you think people are just in a rush to do something?
Yeah, it may look like we're in a bit of a rush, because we need to actually build from ground up. We need to have a strong foundation. We need to understand the market, not understand your capacity and your capabilities, and make sure you have a suited product or service, for the audience or the customer base. So I think we need to be a bit more deliberate. Maybe not, I don't know if rush is the right word, but I think we need to be a bit more deliberate and focus on what we can do and do it.
Okay, so talking about markets, we move into the market. We see a lot of brands and right there. Now let's switch into filmmaking.
Okay.
Creativity is something we can never do away with. We're seated right here. We created something.
Absolutely.
And today we birth it. And you said that inspired you through music, art, and all that.
Yeah.
Do you think we're telling the right stories as Guineans?
It's a good question. What is the right story? I think every story is a story, and I think that if we're going to tell a story, we can be more authentic if we tell a story that we know and feel emotionally. Okay, and I think for us to tell our Ghanaian African stories would be better told stories than trying to tell a story about a kung fu master in Hong Kong. Yeah. Even though we can do it and probably do it very well. But I think if we want to tell a story that is authentically us, then we can tell a better story and I think better entertain the audience, on an emotional level. So that would be my take. Yeah, take.
All right, so coming to your production, I know you have, is it Deto,
the rise of a warrior hand.
And I know it's gained a lot of attention all over the place. Let's talk about the inspiration behind putting that piece together.
Yeah. So that was a full feature film. That was a story about the Ngochi people, people who migrated from Ngochi to present day Volta region, give or take. And that story encompasses tales about Deto Apromada, who is the main subject, King Agokoli, Jedua, his nephew, and a few other stories that people may or may not be familiar with. But that was a story I thought was necessary to be told because some of the facts of history have been skewed, by those that told the story. Yeah. So, for example, there's a legend that Deto Apromada had twin sons who were very powerful and had mystical powers. And one of them migrates to Ewukugwa, where he meets King Osei I, and then goes with him to the Shantiwidi to Kumasi, and he's referred to as the Komfo that came from Omachefo, which becomes Okonfanachi. So this is a story that people don't know because it hasn't been told because we're here. So it is this that motivated me to do some more research and understand, something about us that is uniquely us and unaware. But I'm Ghanaian more than aware. I'm a man of the world, even more than an African. So, but that inspired me to learn more about the story. And then once I found the nuggets of heroism and strength and all the things that we are as Africans are not known for, because this would be a story worth telling. So, myself and the team put together the story to tell it in an entertaining way, but also to empower people to know that we are people that have power in the way that we actually do have, and also to tell those who are not from here to look out and watch out because we're great people.
Now let's talk about resource being made available for storytelling, because you talk to filmmakers, producers. Okay, this site is actually not available. The building is down, so we're not being able to provide or tell. Do you think our creative ministry of tourism sector, we're doing so when it comes to our tourist sites that we want to use in telling these stories?
Yeah, so I think that's a whole podcast, and it's but like I said before, now awareness is a big deal. People are getting to understand our capacity, where our resources are, what they're doing, and what we're not doing well. Let me say two things. First of all, I do not feel I should lean on the government because they are already burdened with a lot. And if you were president today or you were in charge of the country today, what would be your most valuable asset? What would you work on first? And even though that would be a noble objective, what about the other million Kenyans? You know what I'm saying? So wherever you start from, it's going to be different. So look, let the government do what they have to do. Let them put the institutions there to make way for creativity. Let the government do what they're supposed to do. Let them create the facility, the structures to facilitate us. And then let us work with entrepreneurs, business industry to, bring our creativity out. As a creative, our strength is not primarily in business. It's in the creative arts, and as a business person, the strength is in, the business. So we need to collaborate. We need to bring the business people to come and support the creative world. And the creative industry needs to understand that they need to allow the, entrepreneurs and the business people to run, but this does this.
All right, Mr. Coffie, so I want to find out from you, looking at your transition from sports, you're doing business, filmmaking, adding all these things together, you're multitasking.
Yeah.
And definitely someone will be asking, what has kept you moving? What has been that drive for you to keep doing what you're doing each and every time?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, and I've had that asked many times. I've answered it in different ways, but I've asked myself the same question and tried to figure out why I'm doing so many things and why I'm here, there, and everywhere. And I think for me, it is the pursuit of excellence. Wherever I find myself, I want to excel, so whether it be the game of sports like golf, which is a very interesting game, consistently challenging you to succeed in different environments, lots of challenges. And then looking at, serving people, I think I have a natural calling to serve, so even though I'm doing all these things, at the end of the day, I'm looking to serve my community, my people, my reputation, my family name, whatever it is. I want to bring service to it. But in all these different areas, I still see the room to excel. So I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to try and do things different and do things better, not just for the sake of it, but just to explore all the things that we are as a people, as a community. So I think those are some of the driving factors that go.
But definitely you've had some challenging moments. Have you had moments like, no, I'm not doing this again?
Yeah. So this morning I got to bed around 3 a.m. We've had to come here to get this thing going. I think it was 9 o'clock we planned. So this morning I woke up and said, no, I'm not going to do this, And then I said, no, but that's not me. I'm the one who's going to come up and do it. So there are always things that will come in the way. There are always things that will give you an easier option when things you could take. But if you're seeking to excel, there's it's like chasing perfection. You never actually get there, definitely. And it's the journey, not the end for me. Doing it and coming here and talking with you, making reacquainting ourselves with each other and making new acquaintances, things like that excite me. This podcast is going to go big. It's going to go far and wide. People are going to hear my voice, and maybe one person somewhere is going to think, oh, I like what that guy said. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try and excel or whatever it is, And then somebody might hear something I've said that they didn't agree with and make a comment, and that's going to come back to me and bring me up to do something else. So there's always a challenge, always a challenge. And the thing is that, in my view, the challenge is an opportunity to excel, make you stronger, to do something better. In every endeavor, whether you're running a restaurant or whether you're producing a podcast or you're behind the camera, wherever you are, I think there's something about you that you can pull to the fore, and that could be your route to excellence.
Okay. So I'm just going to put you on a very tight spot, right? So we have in sports, we have filmmaking and also business. If you have to drop one.
If I have to drop one of them, for me, it won't make any difference. I would still excel. I would still strive to excel. If you ask me to drop what I'm doing and join you to be a podcast, you still going to do it. We would become the best pair of hosts there would be. So for me, it doesn't matter. This is a lovely restaurant, Tanko's. If Tanko's wanted me to come and, serve meals here, I'm sure I'll be the best waiter. So for me, it doesn't matter which one I drop. Whichever one I do, I intend to be the best.
And what story are you looking to tell in the world of film? Because we have a lot of storylines in there. And is that one story you're still looking at? Hey, I need to tell that story.
So my manager woke me up this morning and said, you have 1 hour to get to East Legon. And she's really tough on me. She keeps me straight and narrow. We have a story. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I'll say it anyway. We have an amazing story about Anansi coming up. It's an 8-part series, limited for the first season either. It's going to be killer. And that's a story I think is going to change the narrative. People are going to remember Anansi, Anansi as part of the Ghanaian folklore. They're going to see the whole story of Anansi being told there a different way. And that's a story out there. That's the next story. But, my whole life is a continuum of stories. It's coming gate. I think so. I want to continue to tell stories that are inspiring, that will wake people up. The dormant, quiet voice that is Kuya normally doesn't get spoken. So I want to push people to dig deep and say it. Whatever it is, just say it. Just be it. Tell the story.
Okay. So before we wrap it up, what's that one question you've always wanted to be asked when you go on interviews, but you've never been asked? And give an answer to it.
Wow. What is the one question? As you can tell, I don't have any problem talking. I can sit here and we can talk. Especially when the energy is busted. And so I have no question in mind that I haven't been asked, because even if I'm not asked, I'll say it anyways. But rather than a question, maybe to share something, may sound philosophical. I think that we spend too much time on regret. We spend too much time thinking about the things that we were not able to do here. And I've got to the point where I realize that all of that is good. But once you hear this and once you realize it, then you have to forget about regrets and just do it. Just get out there, do what it is you've chosen to do, there's nothing about it being right or there's nothing about it being wrong. And once you feel it right in your heart, do it. And if you do it and do it well, you seek to excel. It's amazing what we can do here.
Yeah, so I think it was a question. It was a four. Got it. So I don't know what will be your closing words to the young people watching, and you don't want to start something in life, just give them some inspiration.
Maybe I should look into a camera and say this. Well, there's no easy path. There's just the right path. And the right path is a path that we choose. So, let's just get out there and do what we feel passionate about and do it with everything that's in us. Like I said, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it exactly how I did it earlier. So let's go.
Really humbled having you on our episode today. Keep doing what you're doing. Shit. All right, so viewers right home. So you saw Cofie, an amazing man who has done so well when it comes to, filmmaking right here in Ghana and across. When it comes to sport and golf, he's right at business. He's starting. But before we wrap up, I have some beautiful mark right here for you. It says, believe in your ability to evolve. You don't have to be one thing forever. We can grow, shift, and transform. As long as you keep your mindset open, growth as a journey, not a destination. So that's what I have for you today on our episode. Again, to remind you, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave your comments, like, and share amongst your friends, and tell them this is the Growth Mindset. My name is JK. Join us again on our next episode.